Hello everyone and welcome into the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Alpha 2 reveal map that we had on our September live stream, which was our last live stream before Alpha 2 that we are aware of. And really what we're going to talk about today is what we saw in the map and things that we didn't see. So we'll get into it in a little bit of detail. Let's jump into today's video. So as you guys know, Alpha 2 is rapidly approaching here on October 25th, 2024. And with Alpha 2 coming so quickly, I thought it would be a good idea to deep dive into the map that we saw on the September live stream. Now, there was a lot of great information in that little tidbit that they showed us in that map, but what we didn't really see are some key things that they talked about. Now, are those going to be secrets? Is Intrepid trying to keep that away from us as the player base so that we can experience that on our own? Or did some things change since the Alpha 2 date announcement, since the phases were announced, and so on? So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. And I think the first thing that we need to talk about is just the scope of the Riverlands and the map that we saw. One thing that I was able to confirm on the live stream was the starting area that everyone is going to spawn into. Everyone's going to walk in through the same divine gate that we've known and heard about since the beginning, since we've all been following Intrepid and Ashes of Creation. That divine gate is going to be located in the ruins of Ayla. So we're going to be right smack center of the map with us butting up against the ocean, the water there, as we progress out into the Riverlands, which is going to be cool. I think the ruins of Ayla that they showed at the live stream, there was a lot of good things that we saw there. A little bit of lighting, I think, still that needs to get worked on. But the starting zone, the starter quest area that we saw was pretty good. It felt populated. It felt good. It looked good. And then you move out to your first town, which was that Lionhold, which everyone is going to experience. Intrepid did say that that's going to be where everyone kind of starts and has a springboard off into the world. At least that was the plan, in the Ashes of Creation being an MMO where you can kind of go and do whatever you want. They're going to slowly guide you, but those guide rails are very loose. They're not very restrictive. So even if they're trying to guide you somewhere, you can always go off on your own and do whatever you want. When it comes to the map itself, we did see a very detailed map. And as you can see, like I said, we're starting in the ruins of Ayla, which is located centrally in the map. And then from there, everyone branches out. So we finally got our location of the Winstead node, the Mirrorleth node, Oakenbane Keep, the Tower of Carfin, the Citadel of Steel Bloom. And those were things that we have either seen in live streams or have talked about during live streams. We went through Oakenbane Keep, we saw Mirrorleth, we saw Winstead, we went through the Highwayman Hills, we went through Carfin, we went through the Citadel of Steel Bloom. So we did see a lot of what we have been seeing in live streams visible on this map here. The other big information that we got out of this map was the location of the other 3 nodes. So there's going to be a total of 5 nodes in the Riverlands that is going to be part of Alpha 2 Phase 1 testing. We do also see the grand dungeon that is planned for phase 1 of Alpha 2, but what was missing was the 3 pocket dungeons that we were told that were going to be part of Alpha 2 phase 1. Specifically, we are missing the halls of adjudication and the other unknown dungeon that we did not know about. Um, the Citadel of Steel Bloom is one of those 3 pocket dungeons that they were talking about. So the omission of the other 2 is a little bit of a cause for concern because it doesn't make sense to us, the testers or the player base, at least in my opinion, that we have a Alpha 2 map for what we can expect to see in Alpha 2 Phase 1 at the start, and we don't have the pocket dungeons that we're told that we were going to have. Does that mean that these pocket dungeons are not going to be there? I don't think so. We can expect one major update in phase 1 of Alpha 2 testing so Intrepid could easily add these 2 pocket dungeons during that big major update. Do I think it is a smart move? I don't know. Looking at the map, the right side of the Riverlands seems very, very populated with quests and all sorts of things, whereas the center and left side of the map seem a little bit scarce with content. So it looks like it's very content dense around Miralith, around Winstead, around the Tower of Carfin. And that's okay, to a certain extent. I know we're in testing and, subject to change is always the word of the day that, is thrown around. But just overall, the impact that Alpha 2 is going to have for Intrepid and Ashes of Creation, I can't say that I'm 100% convinced that this map that we're looking at screams to me content rich, which, again, if we really go back to what Alpha 2 is, it's not a full game, it's not a complete game. So what is it that people are going to expect? Now, if you've been following the project, if you've been following Ashes of Creation, you've been following along with Intrepid, you know that expectations have been set, one, by the community, us, right, of what we want to see or think we're going to see, but two, Steven and the team have also set expectations up as well, and a lot of that has to deal with it is a testing phase, it is not a complete game, right? So we have to kind of step back and look at it as a whole for what it is. Yes, they've been in development for 6, 7, 8 years, and we've gotten to an Alpha 2 point, and does it feel like those years were used to the fullest? In my honest opinion, no, but I don't have all the information. I don't have all the details. I don't work for Intrepid. I'm not part of their meetings. I don't know what's going on in the inner workings of Intrepid. But from the outside looking in, it seems like there was a lot of time investment for a little return here for us to test. Now, again, this could be part of the phased approach that Intrepid is taking with rolling out the testing, and that's fine. Again, right, that's their prerogative. They're the developers. They're the ones that are going to be, giving us this game, and they can do it as they see fit. Another key component here that I myself am thinking about as I look at this map as a guild leader, as someone who's ready to get in and test, is where do I want to go as a player? Where do I want to go with my guild? Where do I want to go with my alliance, right? And part of Alpha 2 testing, we're not only testing Intrepid systems and the game and content and looking for bugs, but I think a good portion of what we're going to be testing as well is our own theories that we've crafted as we've followed the project. And as I look at that from a personal perspective of what I want to experience as a tester, it leads me away from the Winstead and Mirrorlith nodes, and away from the densest content. Now, as we talked, the denseness of the content on the right side of the map compared to the left doesn't really incentivize the player base to go towards that left side of the map to potentially go and test things over at those POIs. There's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 POIs if you were to split it down the center that are, on the left side or center of the map. Whereas there's really only one or two points of interest, the Highwayman Hills or Oakenbane Keep on the right side. However, you do also have all those purple and yellow markers. You have the Tower of Carfin there. So you do have a lot. And I think the proximity between Mirrorlith and Winstead is probably closer than any of the other three nodes are to each other. One thing that I also do want to take advantage of is experiencing these lawless zones to understand how that system works. We were told that the lawless Sand Squall Desert and the lawless turquoise seas will mirror what the open seas are going to be like come launch, but we were also told that during Alpha 2, these zones are going to have the best tier loot, both from an armor, weapon perspective, and also from gatherables like crafting materials, harvestable items, ores, things like that. So I want to, while I'm looking for my node home for Alpha 2, I want to combine both content that is driven by what is available, but also I want to experience things that will lend themselves to the content that I want to experience or test for come launch later down the road. So I think my guild and my alliance probably are going to stay away from the Winstead Mirrorlith area. We probably will wind up, somewhere in the other three nodes, testing different theories, testing the content there, and just exploring other parts of the Riverlands that maybe we haven't seen as much as we have in some live stream days. I hope this kind of gives a good overview of the map for everyone. We did a little bit of a deep dive into it. We kind of got off topic a little bit, but that's all right. That's what these videos are for. It's a good way to kind of just provide feedback and some thoughts. Overall, I think the Alpha 2 preview map was very well done, but there are a little bit of a few concerns, right? Namely, the missing content that we are expecting that we can cross-reference versus the Phase 1 slideshow or the Phase 1 slide that they showed us, and just the overall density of content that is being shown on the map is a little bit of a cause for concern, as it does seem to be driving the player base in one direction. But at the overall grand scheme of things, again, this map is fairly all-inclusive. We do see some points of interest that we have never heard about, so maybe those dungeons are located in those areas. I am interested to see how all the waterways play in Alpha 2, testing Phase 1 and 2 and 3, and hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for all the latest content. All the socials are linked below, and as always, we'll see ya on the next one.